guys, how's it going? So I thought I would film a cooking video for everyone. This is going to be my first one. And I don't know why I didn't think of this a long time ago, because I love to cook. Ever since I was a teenager, you know, instead of going out with my friends, I would come home, I would bake cookies, I would bake cake, I would cook. And one of the things I'm glad about is that my family taught me how to cook. And it is a very good thing that they taught me all of that, because now I know how to do a lot of things. For most of you who do know me, cooking is one of my favorite things to do. I can cook all day, literally all day if I wanted to. I love trying new recipes. I love trying new things, especially recipes that I've never tried before. So the recipe that I'm actually going to show you guys today is a Texas casserole. It's not that hard to make, apparently. This is my first time making this recipe. So I've never made this before. This is my first time making it right in front of you guys. So I have here, so these are scalloped potatoes. I actually cut those by myself. These were about 5 potatoes, thinly sliced. And that is 4 cloves of garlic. I have the bottle, you know, the bottle of garlic. Instead of having bulbs of garlic, I just use that. And a recipe calls for onion. And now the recipe called for bell pepper, but I did not have that. But I did want it to have some sort of vegetable in there, so I just diced up some carrots. And I have my ground turkey. It does call for ground beef, but I'm using ground turkey in this instance. Now, this is a mixture of a few things. This is a mixture of cream of chicken, some milk, sour cream, Parmesan cheese. I used garlic salt and black pepper, and I just mixed that all together. It was a little bit too thick for my liking, because I just thought it would be really hard to spread around, so I just added a bit of chicken broth in there. Just a bit, literally just 2 dashes, and I just mixed that together. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cook the ground beef with the onion, with the carrots, and I'm just going to put that all together, and as well as with the garlic. I'm going to saute that just really quick, and then we're going to go ahead and form our casserole. Alright guys, so what I have here is just the mixture of the onions and the carrots and some olive oil. If you were using the bell pepper, I would just use a whole green or red bell pepper, it's up to you. And just put it in at the same time. I just feel like whenever I'm cooking onions and some sort of vegetable together, I like putting it in at the same time because it cooks evenly. If you cook the onion first, then add your vegetable, a few minutes later when you see that the onion's already pretty much cooked, the onion's going to be overcooked and the bell pepper is going to not be cooked all the way. So that is just a tip that I like to use. I'm just going to saute this, and the garlic that I have here, I'm not going to add that in until this mixture is almost fully cooked, or else the garlic will burn. So as you can see, the onions are starting to cook. They're starting to become translucent. And what happens when you cook carrots is they start to get a little more pale. So once everything is cooked and once the carrots are soft, then I'll go ahead and add the garlic. So while that's cooking, I'm just going to share some information. Let me just put this in the sink. About potatoes. So yes, potatoes do turn brown. As you can see here, you know, these are scalloped. They are almost thinly sliced. So they will get much more brown much faster. But one thing that I've learned is to never soak your potatoes, just for the purpose of them turning brown, because they will get waterlogged. Once the potatoes soak up all of the water, especially if you're making a casserole, all the water will come out of the potatoes and your casserole will be very watery, and you don't want that. And that goes also like if you're making potato salad. A lot of people like to, of course, boil their potatoes and then let their potatoes sit in cold water for a few hours until they have to use it. Don't do that, because again, your potato salad will become soggy. So I'm not putting mine in water. I'm just letting mine sit until I have to use it. It'll be totally fine from experience. So this mixture is starting to cook very well. It is almost time for me to add my garlic. I just have it on medium heat. Let me just put away a few things in the refrigerator. So I just thought that this would be different. I didn't want, a lot of people have a cooking segment on their channels, but it's more like a cooking show. They're very well prepared. They have it in individual bowls and they don't show exactly what's happening. I just wanted it to be natural. A lot of things happen when you're cooking that don't exactly happen. And when we cook, we're not like a cooking show. We don't have everything specifically perfect. So nothing's perfect when you're cooking unless you're a perfectionist. I sometimes am, but I just wanted it to be natural. So these, I would say, the onions are starting to get translucent. The carrots are totally not completely orange anymore. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add the garlic. So I'm just going to mix that together. Now don't let it overcook, because especially if you're chopping your own garlic, it's going to be much bigger than, the itty bitty tiny garlic that I have in there from the bottle. But if you leave it in there too long, it will burn. And, I'm not too worried about the garlic cooking so much. All the garlic for is really just flavor. So I'm just going to cook this for about a minute. Then I'm going to go ahead and add my ground turkey. Alrighty, so I went ahead and added my ground turkey. Yet again, I'm only using ground turkey because it is what I would rather have rather than ground beef. But this is also what I had in the fridge. So that is what I will be using. I'm just going to chop this up here. Not chop, mix, sorry. Alright, and we're just going to let that cook until it is completely brown. I'm just going to add some salt and some pepper, some garlic powder, some onion powder just for flavor. So I have my onion powder, my garlic salt, my garlic powder, some black pepper, and just a little touch. This wasn't in the recipe, but I love it. I'm just going to add a little bit of cumin just for that little bit of kick and flavor. I love cumin. I love it in a lot of things, especially if it doesn't ask for it, especially in Mexican food or in some sort of ground meat. It tastes very good. So I like to put just a dash, just a little bit. You don't want to overpower it. You don't want your whole dish tasting like Mexican food. I just add it for flavor. So another thing, I like to add all of my spices and my seasonings and my salt right about when the beef or ground turkey or whatever meat you're using is already pretty much almost fully cooked. I don't know, I just feel like every time I add it into raw meat and then meat that's not fully cooked, I just don't like doing that. I don't know why, but it's just my thing. But you can add it whenever you like. You don't need to follow my complete instructions. Alright, so my turkey, ground turkey, is pretty much almost fully cooked. So I'm going to go ahead and add all of the spices that I mentioned earlier. I'm going to add a little bit of my cumin, just a splash. I don't want too much. onion powder. I already do have onion in there, but just for a little bit of flavor. Some garlic salt. Love garlic salt. Some garlic powder. Again, just for flavor. And some pepper. Beautiful. See, that cumin smells delicious. So my mixture is pretty much already cooked. Now, if you are cooking this with ground beef, you want to make sure to drain it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drain some of this fluid out so the casserole is not watery, because that's what's going to make it watery as well. If you do not have a colander, and of course you want to get all the fat out of here or the watery fluid, you can always use a grated spoon to just scoop it onto the casserole so all of the water doesn't get into the casserole and the casserole doesn't get soggy. So this is pretty much done. I am going to go ahead and turn the heat off on this, and we'll get started on making our casserole. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and assemble our casserole. I am using this is the deepest casserole dish that I have. You can use whatever size dish you have. It's just, since it is a casserole, it has layers, just like a lasagna, so you want the dish to be a little bit deep. So this is the only dish that I have. As you can see, it is fairly deep. The other one that I have, which was a 13 by 9, wasn't nearly deep enough and big enough. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and add the potatoes, just layer them down, then add the soup mixture and your meat, and then you're going to do it all over again. Potato, soup, meat. So what we're going to do is we're just going to layer this. I did grease the bottom of the pan just so it doesn't stick when we try to scoop it out later on. And try and cover everything. These potatoes are beautiful. I forget if, because these aren't Yukon Gold. I think these are russet. So that's totally fine if it's, what you want to do is you want to cover all the holes. You don't want all kinds of holes in there. Alright, so now what we're going to do, I'm just going to cover all of the holes here. Beautiful. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and pour some of the soup mixture. Like I said earlier, I believe I did say what's in here. This was a can of cream of chicken soup, or you can use cream of mushroom. 3/4 of a cup of milk. I mixed heavy cream and regular milk together. And 1/2 cup of sour cream. And just a dash of chicken broth, because it was a little bit too thick for me. I didn't know if it was supposed to be that thick. And then I just added some garlic salt and some pepper. So I'm just gonna grab some of this, and we are just going to spread it. Oh, flying potatoes. I'm just going to scoop it on here first, and then we'll spread it around. Okay. So this is the very first layer. I guess I shouldn't use such a big spoon because so you just want to cover everything. So this is the very first layer. Then what we're going to do is we're going to scoop some of the meat mixture onto the casserole. So I'm using, I didn't use a colander. So you're just gonna sprinkle some of the meat mixture on here. Just remember not to put too much of the soup mixture or the meat because you have a few layers. So you don't want to overdo it. All right, that's good. Then you're gonna do it all over again. So the casserole is all done. I just took it out of the oven. It was in there for a total of an hour and 25 minutes. So after the 1 hour mark, I went ahead and took off the foil and I just let it sit in there. I added some cheese on top. I put Parmesan cheese and left it for 25 minutes. When you take the foil off, you want to see if your potatoes are cooked. Just stick a fork in it, and if it feels good to you or if it looks good, then that's fine. Just cook it for 20 more minutes. If you want to put cheese and have it melt, then leave it on until it's melted. You just want to make sure that the potatoes are fully cooked. So I will show you guys the finished product. This is the finished product. Look at all of that goodness. Looks so good. So I'm just gonna take a slice out of it. All right, so I'm just gonna take a little bit off the corner here. Ooh. Oh yeah, that looks good. Ooh, the potatoes are all cooked. Look at that. You can see the turkey. You can see, and it is very moist because of the sauce mixture with the sour cream and the cream of chicken. Alright, so it's going for a taste test. Right, here we go. I'm just gonna give it a taste. It's perfect. The potatoes are fully cooked. It smells amazing. You can smell the cumin in there. If you guys do try this recipe, please comment down below and let me know how you think of it, how you liked it, or if you changed anything. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!